Cut. Take 4. Hello, my name is Chad Daniel Stott. I feel like the middle name is important. God gave it to you. I don't know why people don't use it. Anyways, moving on. I volunteer here at Hills Church in the worship department, and I also volunteer in the youth. I've been asked here to kind of tell a little bit of my story. I grew up in a Christian home, loving parents, loving family members. My grandfather was the pastor of our church, an absolute godly man. So I grew up with examples all around me of what a Christian home, what a Christian man was supposed to look like. And for some reason, I found myself constantly in the complete other direction. I chose to just do my own thing and pave my own path. I was saved young. I was 7 or 8 years old when I accepted the Lord, and so the Holy Spirit was in my life, in my heart, dwelling at an early age. So as I began to choose to, through the high school years, drink and do drugs, and I dabbled in some of the harder drugs to just hide all of the pain and the shame and the guilt that I felt in life, and that I didn't feel like I was good enough, and I didn't feel worthy. I was literally shutting out the Holy Spirit's voice. I was shutting out God's voice, my family's voice, and I refused to listen to any of it. I wouldn't go to church. I wasn't going to be a part of that because the conviction was so much for me. I just could not handle being in a setting where I was going to have to feel something, the guilt and the shame that I felt at that point in time. I ended up just an absolute disaster. I had a rock bottom moment. I think lots of people do, and I think it looks different for everyone. My family basically said, hey, listen, we're gonna change our will. If you can't get yourself together, you can't be responsible for caring for your siblings. That was my rock bottom moment, that I wasn't capable of helping family members, and I wasn't capable of being there for the people I loved, and the disappointment was it was almost more than I could bear. So I made a decision to change my life and to change it around, and I had a whole slew of family members the whole time that have been saying, hey, we love you, we care about you, we're here for you. So I had a net to fall into, I had a place to go, not only with God, but God was using them as his net, as his comfort. I said, I'm gonna change my life around, I'm done. But I just could not get away from the old habits, the old friends. I could not break away from the temptation. And so my dad said, you need to move to New Mexico and go live with your grandparents and get yourself clean. So I wanted to get clean, and I wanted to get to a good place in my life, so I decided to do that. I moved here, and I was gonna get clean for a year, moved back to Kansas, but I found Michelle, and it was pretty much the last nail in my eternal coffin, if you will, as far as getting my life sealed in the right direction. That final piece of the puzzle was Michelle, and he used her to solidify my decision being the correct decision. And he used her to help keep me accountable and have a partner in this life that I could move forward and do better with. I'm not saying from that moment on it was gravy. It was 5 or 6 years of really just continual struggle, making the right decision over and over again, and choosing to be in the right place, the right time, the right people to hang around, and all the things. But fast forward, and I've really got a great example of what a redemption story looks like from beginning to end. I'm using that to tell kids, to tell high schoolers, listen, you're here, but you don't have to be here. You could be here. So I guess if we're gonna talk about my story, it's just that God is capable of using anyone through any circumstance. If people are gonna have redemption stories, they have to be willing to step outside the box and use their stories as well, or else it's just a waste.